Pipedrive is a sales CRM SaaS application for small sales teams. And we were founded in 2010 in Tallinn, Estonia. And we have since expanded to the US. That was done a few years ago. And I've joined the company here in the last year and a half. And we have a large operation in New York and an expanding team in Tallinn, Estonia as well. So I ask this question, and people, when they first see this business and realize how young we are, have asked the same question: why on earth would you start a CRM company in 2010? Seems like a category that was wrapped up and dominated by some large players. Well, as is often the case, as you look at these things, they're more nuanced than you initially realize. And the opportunity wasn't and still isn't wrapped up, and it's quite massive. And our focus on that opportunity is really around sales specifically, small businesses, and really addressing the global opportunity. And all three of those combined present something quite interesting. More than half of salespeople are still using spreadsheets or a paper and pen. They're not using a tool at all online. And really, sales is the driving use case that drives businesses, especially small businesses, to CRM as an application. Their first adoption of CRM is about sales. The small business market, as everyone knows, is massive, and if you look at it globally, the numbers are quite large. And from the very beginning, because our company was founded in such a small country, the requirement to be global was there. And so a lot of the challenges of taking a company global are already in our rearview mirror. And the SaaS CRM market, just in general, is still growing at a rapid clip. So this is what happens when you take advantage of such a great market opportunity. Our growth has been substantial. We've grown over 110% from 2013 to 14, 14 to 15, and that's happening again this year. So we're growing quite quickly. We recently surpassed 30,000 paying customers. Those are individual companies, not seats or users. Those are individual companies paying us on a monthly basis. We did an A round with Bessemer Venture Partners last year. I joined the company a few months prior to that. And we've hit lots of interesting milestones, and the growth has been steady and substantial as we've gone. So I always like to go back to the problem. So why are we here? What problem are we solving? It really keeps us focused. And when the company was founded, they were very focused on a problem that they saw. And it's a problem that I've lived, so when I first encountered the business, I understood it well. You know, an interesting story is I was running a business before Pipedrive, and I had a small sales team. And I kept saying to the head of sales, where are we at this month? You know, week and a half into the month, 2 weeks into the month, I was saying, where are we going to end up? What's the number going to be this month? And he couldn't tell me. And I said, well, that big brand name CRM application that we just spent $10,000 configuring for the salespeople, why can't you tell me? And he'd say, they're not using it. So I went and interviewed the sales team one-on-one and said, why aren't you using it? And across the board, they just said, it's too difficult, it's complicated. And one guy said, because it doesn't help me sell. He said, it feels like this tool is more for you than for me. I need something to help me sell. And that was profound for me then, and when I encountered Pipedrive and heard the story, I got it. The company was building something for salespeople to be effective so that they wouldn't have the kinds of reactions to these tools that we see a lot. Feels like micromanagement, too time-consuming to enter the data. Don't see how it has money-making impact. And the truth is, good salespeople don't want to be doing data entry. They want to be selling. So if you're going to have them use a tool, it better help them sell. The founding team had been consulting on sales and training on sales for 15 years. And they had encountered this problem and found it very frustrating. And they were looking for tools and applications to help salespeople and really to replicate a sales methodology that they were teaching, to get salespeople, individual salespeople and small sales teams more effective in their day-to-day activities so they'd be successful. And I had some early career sales experience, and I remember a sales manager saying to me, "It's great that you closed that deal, but now you have no pipeline. Why'd you spend all your time on that one deal?" Or, "Geez, you have a great pipeline, but you just lost a deal. Did you know it was not going to close? Why didn't you bring me in?" And he finally took me in and said, "Look, you need to stop focusing on the number. You need to focus on your activities day to day. How are you managing the pipeline?" So I learned this methodology a long time ago. So this stuff is age old, but no one seemed to want to solve the problem. So these guys did. And as the story goes, they had a couple of big brand name CRM applications on the screen. They're trying to figure out how to use it, and they kept looking at their whiteboard behind them filled with sticky notes and their pipeline. And they brought in the rest of the founding team, a former Skype engineer, another engineer who'd done a startup, and they built the application. And it was great. I mean, they nailed it. They got great product market fit. They kept it very intuitive. They priced it to be affordable for small teams and small businesses because they knew that's where the need was the greatest. And over time, we have kept it simple, but we've also developed a great depth of functionality all around the use case of managing sales as a salesperson and as a small sales team. And that focus on getting the deal closed has had a huge impact on us. And it's really enabled us to cut through the market, cut through a fairly crowded market, and get great traction. So how are we different? And these are sort of the things that drew me to the business. One is, at a remarkably early stage for our business, we have a completely global footprint. We have 13 localizations. We do business in 130 countries. That's unique, and especially unique in my experience of growing up in American businesses that didn't need to go global because the SMB opportunity was so massive in the US. And then once you decide to go outside of that, it's very difficult because that's not in your DNA. What was remarkable to me about this business is they did it from the beginning, and I think that's because of where they were founded. So that really gives us an advantage. We're able to find ourselves in markets where opportunities are untapped, and we've gotten great acceleration through that. Targeting SMBs is also something that really gives us a lot of focus. It also enables us to design for the user, which is really different, and what I think has caused the problem in CRM is once you go out market, the buyer and the user tend to be very different people. And you're trying to win the business, so you end up designing for the buyer, and the user just has to deal with it. When you're building and selling to small business, you're selling to the person who's actually going to be using it, and you don't have that division. And that's really helped us. So we're very, very in touch with what people need and how they use the application. And salespeople use it. I mean, that's the key. There's no sense pulling reports and data if salespeople aren't putting the right data in. In our case, our first user is normally an individual salesperson who gets a free trial for 30 days and converts to paying, and then the rest of the team says, "What's that?" And then the manager says, "Oh my God, that's great, they're actually using it." And that's how we enter most of our accounts. And that's really highly differentiated than the way most people have approached the market. So we're growing fast, solving a real problem, have very loyal customers, and I really appreciate being here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.